welcome you today, and this is a very special day for us. My name is George Martin, and I'm the managing partner at McGuire Woods, the Richmond office for McGuire Woods. And on behalf of my partners, we want to thank you for participating in this very special ceremony today. We have numerous elected officials, current and former, and we unfortunately cannot recognize all of them, but we would at least ask that you would raise your hand if you are an elected official, current or former. Please raise your hand. I wish I had the time to thank everyone who participated in this project. And this project began several years ago. But I want to give a special thanks to the mayor, city council, and the city administration. Because without them, this project would not have come to fruition. Several years ago, we had a conversation with the city and we expressed an interest in rerouting 8th Street, which ran through this block. And immediately they said, no problem, we'll take care of it. And that was the beginning of an outstanding partnership with the city. Now, Bob Clark from Clayco is going to speak later, and he's going to speak more about that partnership with the city, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. But we also want to acknowledge all of the individuals who were involved in this project. And once again, I'd like to ask you to raise your hand if you had any involvement in this magnificent project. We have a special surprise for the mayor. Mr. Mayor, we wanted to do something in conjunction with the bike race, or to recognize the bike race. So, several weeks ago, we started a project in conjunction with Town Bank and Fit for Kids. And Fit for Kids is a not-for-profit that was formed to promote physical activity among youth and to fight childhood obesity. So we began collecting sports equipment and bicycles. So if you look to the right, you'll see several bicycles, and that's just a small token of, a small example of the donations that we will provide for Richmond area school kids. We want to do that in conjunction with the bike race. And I will do a little bit of advertising for McGuire Woods because we were involved with helping to establish Fit for Kids as a part of our commitment to pro bono legal service. And one of our partners served on the initial board, and we have a partner serving on the current board. I would like to call on my chairman, Richard Cullen, at this time, and he's going to have a special introduction.
Thanks, George, and I also want to welcome everyone and thank you all for coming. It is a very special day for the city of Richmond, and we're so honored to have the mayor and the former mayor, now the senator, here. Richmond is just taking off like a rocket, and we're real pleased to have played a little part in that. You know, the negotiations to do something like this are sometimes complicated and a little complex, and George indicated how smooth it was, but at times it wasn't quite as smooth. And I remember, I'm a horrible poker player, and I had to bluff the mayor and said, you know, well, maybe we just won't stay in Richmond. He just looked at me and laughed. But we're so happy to be here, and we're so happy that we're going to have Town Bank with us. It's a wonderful institution that the city of Richmond is just getting to know, and we're just happy to be a neighbor of theirs. My main job, though, is to introduce the visionary, Bob Clark, who is the CEO and founder of Clayco out of St. Louis and Chicago, who really built this building in more ways than just the steel and the concrete. And just by looking at the lobby and seeing the special touches that are the hallmark of Clayco and Bob Clark, you can see why he was chosen. But before I ask Bob to come up, I just want to say that, particularly to our clients, that in the final analysis, you know, no matter how grand this is, it is just a building, and it's what goes on inside the building that really matters. And we, on behalf of McGuire Woods, want to, number one, thank our clients for the opportunity to work for you all, and more importantly, to promise you that we will work just as hard for you, despite the fact that we are in such nice surroundings. So Bob, if you could come up, please. Bob Clark.
Well, what an honor to be on a stage that looks like this. Bob Chodos on the end is part of the vision for the building, and originally introduced the idea and brought me to meet the fine folks at McGuire Woods. To be up here with the senator, the mayor, and the chairman and visionary for Town Bank is really an honor. So welcome to Gateway Plaza. Richard and I collaborated on the naming of the building. I think I got Plaza and he picked Gateway. Gateway is entry. It's an opening, usually to the future. But we didn't build the building for the ages. We built the building for right now. For the people who live and work in this community, we see the building, the architecture, the art, and its future as a connection, and we hope it's a connector. On this project, as developers and builders, we didn't always act in our own best interest, and I think the record will show that we acted in the interest of our partners, the City of Richmond, our tenants, McGuire Woods and Bill Goodwin, Town Bank, and others, and we acted in the interest of the art community and feel like we connected to the rich history of a great city. It's an honor for me to represent the real estate professionals and the builders, the architects, the designers and artists, artisans, and all the craftsmen who toiled in the elements, and there were some tough winter days, to be sure, to pull together the building that we believe is more than just a building. To reiterate what Richard said, in fact, our brand is the art and science of building, but it's really about beyond these walls. Because a long time ago, my wife told me that what happens in all of my buildings is way, way more important than the buildings themselves. And she said that it would be a pathetic legacy if I was known when I die for building buildings instead of the work that occurred in them. And it was very meaningful to me and powerful. So we know that what happens in here outstrips the actual building, and we take it really seriously. We saw it really as an unbeatable opportunity to help one of Richmond's great and storied businesses prosper. The legacy of McGuire Woods was really an amazing thing for us to wrap our head around being part of, and we wanted to be part of that. In fact, when we went to see the mayor, we didn't try to bluff him. We said right away, this is our dream and this is our vision. And in my very first meeting with the mayor, he got it. And he also understood that in today's environment, in an ultra-competitive world, that we would need help and we would need a partnership from the city. But he wasn't just saying, well, whatever you need, no problem. What he said was, we had to engage in the community. We had to become a part of the community. And I think that we did that. I think we saw the project as an opportunity to do actual community engagement. The mayor, the council people, our local consultants asked us as the investors that they would become in the building to use the building as a launch pad to recognize the citizenry of the community, to do organized outreach, and to put local community builders and contractors, disadvantaged businesses, underrepresented workers, minority businesses, and women-owned businesses, and we set an incredibly challenging goal, I think it was the mayor's goal, of 40%. Not only that, but we set out to focus on the workforce as well, not just minority subcontractors, but boots on the ground, so we could create meaningful jobs that will stand the test of time and reflect the makeup of the community. Skeptics thought the goal was just a goal, but our team made it a requirement. I made it a requirement in our contract, and I made it a requirement in all of our subcontracts, and we believed that it could be achieved. We felt like the capacity was in the marketplace, and I'm proud to say that we exceeded the requirement. With our local partners, thank you. Thank you. And we had lots of help. You know, our partner Junior Burr is here today, Canterbury Enterprises, and we could not have accomplished this goal without you. Our MBE goal was 40%, and our actual results were 42.7%. The value of the MBE subcontracts on this project was $19 million. The MBE firms that worked on this project number 23. 23 firms helped participate every day for 26 months to pull this project together. But what's most amazing to me is that the actual workforce was 68.47% minority and female workers. You could not come on this job while it was underway and not see that we were representing the community. And I've never seen a job that had so many women craftsmen on it, and I'm very extremely proud of that. In closing, I'd just like to say how proud we are to have participated in the amazing experience in this great city. And we hope to find other opportunities to engage with the public here and continue our strong friendship. Thanks to all the hard work from all the people that worked on the project, particularly Bob Couture and Sharon Ross, Richard Cullen, the city officials, the mayor, Dwight Jones, who I think is one of the best champions for a city that I've worked with in my career. Thank you. And now, thank you so much. And it's now my great pleasure to have Bob Ashton from Town Bank come up.
Well, let me just say that today is sort of a dream come true for us. When I look at our town family and the fact that we're really the new kids on the block here in Richmond, and to have the tremendous opportunity to be a part of this wonderful project that Bob has done, and Bob Couture and Richard and all the others that have worked on it, I just can't say how thrilled we are as our town family to be able to be a part of this. You know, banking is what we do for a living. It's our business. But our company really thrives from a passion viewpoint on serving others and enriching lives. And for us, what goes on in this building is what will enable us to do the good things in this community, to earn our place in this community, and to put back into the community those things that can make the community a better place to live for all the folks that are here in this Richmond community. I'd like to especially thank our friends at McGuire Woods. Larry is here somewhere. I saw him when he came in today. Where's Larry Chapman? He's out here somewhere. He's back in the back. And Bob Clark and everybody that helped us to put this together. It's just a wonderful opportunity. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be here. And we promise that we won't let you down and let this community down. Thank you very much.
Well, his name has been called several times today. It's my pleasure to introduce Richmond's champion for economic development, our wonderful and talented mayor, Dwight Jones, who is a dear friend. And we thank you so much for everything that you've done to help make this a reality. Mayor Jones.
Thank you, George, and I really do appreciate your kindness and your kind remarks. And Richard, you are a pretty good poker player. Whether you meant it or not, when you mentioned that you might leave, I said, not on my watch. And so we're happy that you're here. I had the wonderful privilege today of agreeing with a journalist that I rarely agree with. He put in print that cool cities do cool things. He was referring to the bike races that are going on that we're all excited about and the enthusiasm that we feel downtown. But you know, this is an exciting thing as well. The dedication of this building. Just 2 years ago, we were here for the groundbreaking of this building, and to see it rise in this splendor. And if you haven't taken the tour of the building, you need to do it because it is beautiful from top to bottom. And to be able to come here and to dedicate it today is an extreme pleasure. It was a pleasure to work with McGuire Woods. And George, when you said you had something special for me, and it sounded like you had a bike for me. And when I found out how much the bikes cost that these athletes are riding, I really got excited. But I'm also excited that the young people in the city of Richmond will have the benefit of your generosity, and they will have the benefit of having bikes to ride because of the generosity of McGuire Woods. You know, the city has a responsibility to attract businesses, but it also has a responsibility to retain businesses. And we're just as pleased as we can be that we have been able to retain McGuire Woods, because McGuire Woods is a tradition in the city of Richmond. And you know, McGuire Woods is too old to be changing addresses at this particular time. And so we're delighted that you are here. And George, please don't let the rumor get out that it's easy to change and close streets. At least tell them it made you sweat a little bit. But it's amazing how people become accustomed to new traffic patterns and how much of an addition to the city's skyline this building has made. So we congratulate McGuire Woods, we congratulate Clayco. It's been a pleasure to work with you as well. And all of those persons who will do enterprise in this building. And we know that this is a part of Richmond's resurgence. And as the writer said, cool cities do cool things, and this is a cool place. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I'd ask you to join me as we cut the ribbon. Oh, sorry. Getting ahead of myself.
If I had done that, they would have said it was a Freudian slip. But we are truly honored, Senator Kane, that you are here today. And if I can let these folks in on a little secret, just to demonstrate the kind of leader and person Tim Kaine is, he was asked by the president to come to not the big meeting with His Holiness the Pope today, but with a smaller meeting. And Senator Kane said that he'd already made a commitment and that he was going to honor it. And we are doubly, triply appreciative of that. When Senator Kane I'm not a good poker player, but I think I'm a good political prognosticator. And when Senator Kane was elected to the Senate, I said two things. One, he would quickly be viewed as a serious and thoughtful leader in the Senate, and he certainly has done that. And second, that he would not forget his roots. and he certainly has not done that. And for those and many more reasons, we are so honored to have you address us today, Senator.
Hey, thank you all. Good afternoon. It is true. Richard is correct that after we had made the plan to come and do this today, and I'm very excited to be here, about 10 days ago I got asked to do some events today in Washington with the Pope, and I said I don't like to cancel events. Now, I was a missionary in Latin America with Latin American Jesuits. It was not easy to turn down, and I can assure you if I wasn't going to be in chambers with the Pope tomorrow, I would have easily canceled this event. But since I'm going to have a chance tomorrow, I stuck to my don't change my schedule rule. Standing here kind of reminds me there was a law firm one day that was having an opening like this, and when the partners, George and Richard and others came in, there's a huge flower arrangement sitting right in front that said condolences on it. And they knew it had been misdelivered. And so they got the name of the florist and they called the florist and said, we were having this fantastic opening and we had to have this big florist arrangement that said condolences on it. And the guy said, wow, that is bad, but somewhere there's a funeral where there's a florist arrangement that says best of luck in your new location. It is, it really is fun to be here, and I'll tell you why I said yes so quickly after I say a few words about folks on the stage. Richard is a dear friend. When I declared my first candidacy for the city council in 1994, he and I had breakfast at Becky's so I could pick his brain, and I've been benefiting from his advice ever since, although he's never voted for me. In fact, the day I declared I was running for the Senate in April of 2011, I got a lot of phone messages from people saying nice things, and I only saved one message, and the message was, hey Tim, this is Richard Cullen. You know I'm going to vote against you, both because we're in different parties and you're running against a former law partner of mine, but if you win, I know you'll run a good campaign, and if you win, I'm sure Virginia will be in good hands. And I was like, why did I say that message? The only one where somebody was saying they wouldn't vote against me, but it's just the kind of guy Richard is. And we have been very, very good friends, and Richard, your request to come, and George, your request to come, I admire you both a lot, and so many of you. And I'm going to get to McGuire Woods, all of you, in a minute. Mayor Jones, you're doing a great job. What a wonderful time to be a Richmonder. What a wonderful time to be. I know how hard it is to be a mayor, and when I was mayor, it wasn't as hard as it is now because the mayoral role was a different role with less power and burden and responsibility. But, you know, I'm here today because of having agreed to do this, and the Senate's not in session because of Yom Kippur. So I take 2 hours to be up on Broad Street with my baseball hat and sunglasses, enjoying the bike races. I can see activity all over the city. I can see neighborhoods where cool things are happening where that wasn't necessarily the case 5 or 10 years ago. I'm a proud Richmonder with 3 kids who graduated from the Richmond Public Schools, and I know we got RPS people here, but I'm just so proud. And my kids, I get to hear my children brag about how cool it is to have grown up in Richmond. And there's nothing that makes you feel better in public life, I can assure you. 21 years in public life. Hearing my kids brag about their hometown, given that I devoted a little bit of my political career to my hometown, makes me feel great. And I just hope you really feel this sense of things converging and Richmond getting wonderful attention. So thanks for your friendship and thanks for your leadership. Bob Aston, I've gotten to know Bob in Hampton Roads. Bob and a lot of his partners and board members and friends, and Town Bank is a superb institution. Those of you in Richmond who haven't yet had the interaction with it, you're going to really find Town Bank to be a great partner. And Bob, it's great to have you and to welcome Town Bank to Richmond in a significant way. And then finally, a word about Bob Clark. I had almost absolutely nothing to do with this project. Almost absolutely nothing to do. The credit goes to the team, the credit goes to the firm, the credit goes to the city. But I came to know Bob Clark when I was chairman of the Democratic National Committee, met him in St. Louis. And at some point, it was in 2010 or 2011, he said to me, hey, do you know Richard Cullen and McGuire Woods in Richmond? I said, I sure do. He says, I'd really like to meet them because they want to do a headquarters building, and I'd really like Clayco to be the general contractor and the developer of the building. And so I called Richard and just said, you're going to hear from a lot of people who want to do this building, and you're going to make the decision that's best for the city and best for McGuire Woods, but I hope you'll talk to this guy. And, so I feel like a little sense of, from the very beginning, having some connection in it. I have come to know Bob Clark and just consider him one of the most visionary, unusual, and interesting business leaders that I've met in my entire life. And he is St. Louis based, but now with a huge presence in Chicago with business all over the United States. If you go to any project that Bob Clark does, you will see not only a design standard that is really architecturally excellent, but you'll see a huge commitment to public art. And to the point that he made about the buildings don't work unless what happens inside of it works. Emily Dickinson has a great poem that begins, "The show is not the show, but they that go." It's they that go, not the show itself, not the spectacle, it's not the building, it's what happens within it. And that's how Bob Clark does his job. So to you and Clay Cobom, it's great to be here with you. So the reason I said yes, and I'll be quick, is I love the city and I love seeing wonderful new things happen in the city, but I have had a braided relationship with McGuire Woods since the first day I came to Richmond. I had never been in Richmond. I'm a kid from Kansas City. I came to visit my girlfriend, who was a summer associate at McGuire Woods in the summer of 1982. I only knew one person in Richmond, and it was my wife, Ann Holton, and she was a summer associate at McGuire Woods. And she was and remains a better negotiator than me, so I ended up in her city, not she in my city, Kansas City. But Ann and I both practiced law. She at Legal Aid and me with two firms, Little Parsing, Cavlaris, and Missoula McAllister. We had cases against McGuire Woods. We had cases on the same side of McGuire Woods. We were both on charitable boards galore with folks from McGuire Woods. And then my wife became a juvenile court judge, and I became a city councilman and mayor. And in her court and in my city council chambers, we had folks from McGuire Woods and all the time advocating on behalf of not only paid clients, but advocating on behalf of pro bono causes and charitable organizations that wanted to do good work with the city. And then Ann and I moved into the governor's mansion up the way, and I had folks from McGuire Woods in my administration. I had folks from McGuire Woods soliciting things from my administration. I had folks from my administration leave to join McGuire Woods. I was dealing with McGuire Woods folks every day. And Ann, as First Lady, was working on a project to reform the foster care system of Virginia and got pro bono assistance from lawyers at McGuire Woods in that way. And now we're each in a new chapter where I'm in the United States Senate and I interact with your offices. The last time I was in the McGuire Woods office was probably 6 days ago in your DC office. I deal with your lawyers. I see Mark Bowles here. I deal with him all the time. I deal with your lawyers and your other leaders and professionals at least once a week, if not more. And my wife Ann, Secretary of Education, is dealing with McGuire Woods folks who are on college boards, who are working on growing the number of degrees, who are working on capital issues for Virginia higher ed, who are being loaned to city public schools to help Richmond's K-12 system. I have never been an employee of McGuire Woods, but I can't imagine how I could be closer to McGuire Woods unless I was his son or I was actually an employee. I have now been in Richmond for 31 years, and I've seen the good that this firm provides here, and not just here, but around the country and around the world. So you make a statement by planting and moving, but just moving across the street, and making this long-term commitment to the community, and doing it in a way where it truly is a gateway, where it will be a beacon, where it will set a great example on our skyline that is akin to the example that you set every day in what you do. And that's why you've got such a great crowd of people here. You have elected officials, you've got the business leadership, you've got academic leadership, you've got the arts community leadership, you've got philanthropic leadership, you've got leadership from the bar around Virginia and elsewhere, you have clients, you have folks from the McGuire Woods offices inside and outside Virginia. It's an exciting day. I don't know what the Las Vegas odds were when this firm started, that it would still be around today. The odds were not probably very high, but because of your commitment to your client and to this community first, and then more broadly to the communities where you practice, you've been in this for the long haul, and we all are here with a high degree of confidence that you will be in this for the very long haul in the future. So thanks for having me today, and it's great to have a chance to come and see this wonderful facility and thank folks with this firm who've done so much for our city.
Senator, I'm sorry that I overlooked you, so I guess that means I don't get to meet the Pope tomorrow. We are so delighted that Ann is a better negotiator and that she brought you to Richmond. We've been blessed by your service, and we thank you so much for being with us today. And now, we will cut the ribbon.